because I say the word. These people will kids try to push those kids to and psychologically damage them because they want to protect their favorite creator. Yeah, but I'm the asshole, right? I'm the fascist piece, right? Why were you in a VC alone? Off. Who stays on Discord and off and is a normal person? Who does that? What kind of world, what kind of life are you living? You need to seek God. So they're just asking random people in Discord, who's over 18 so I can have Discord e-sex with them. What the fuck? In a server full of minors. How about you stop being a complete fucking freak sweeper? How about that? Instead of calling it total and listening to only one side of it, you actually do the effort and the work and to look into it instead of being a completely brain dead dip VTuber. How about that one?
You're suing a man and you ended with a fucking dog hitting a fucking drum! Oh, I'm fucking mad.
Cops is filmed on location with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
All right, we got some Toasty Vanilla updates. Now, I already went over most of the FCK stuff, pretty in depth, covering the Nezzy Monster call and the Fuchsia Butter stuff, and you know, I didn't go over Akumu's Maxim video, right? That was very, very fucking long. But there's been an update to Toasty Vanilla, the individual that was sending pornography to minors in the FCK Discord server, who Nezzy Monster failed to do anything about and covered up for. So Yen is a well-known person in Lyo's Discord. I don't know much about them outside of that, so it is what it is. So, there's been some updates in regard to the Toasty Vanilla stuff, like I was stating prior. Now, I wish to read this first, because Yen does go over a group of people that are aware of Toasty Vanilla, but are sweeping for them. So we need to be clear here before we proceed forward. A correction by Yen. Rex Silvermoon, gayest fucking name imaginable, I hate the VTuber community, has since messaged me saying he has looked into Teddy's statements and said they will no longer associate with Toasty Vanilla and condone what they have done. Based Rex. The drawing shown was actually of Toasty and Hopeless Peaches, not Teddy. I read it as such, given it seems to show them as two guys. Given it wasn't out that Peaches was trans at the time, to my knowledge. Peaches isn't trans. Peaches isn't trans. Sorry, I'm devaluing Peaches' transition story. Peaches only started identifying as trans when they got into major shit, okay? I don't believe it for a fucking second. A fucking second that Hopeless Peaches is actually trans. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it from somebody that'll weaponize any sort of victim status that they can. However, it was still inappropriate for Toasty to show said image. Fair. All right, let's listen to Yen's video and see what we got.
For the following topics: child endangerment, sexual harassment, and grooming. Hello, my name is Yen, and today I would like to talk about a much more serious topic than my last video, something that many people in the art commentary community and slideshow commentary community will know all too well due to its extensive coverage by creators such as Akumu and Lakumo Laka, and discussed extensively over the last 4 years of the existence of the FCK server, also known as the Fruitcake Club server.
Dude, I swear to God, the Fruitcake Club is going to be, like, etched into history as, like, the ultimate Diddy Discord server. His name was Big Bungie. True Big Bungie. Big Bungie, we need you back, bro.
And for degeneracy, pedophilic behavior, and child endangerment that happened within this server. But like I said, this situation has been discussed extensively, so what more else can I add to this discussion? Well,
I know they hit in the VTuber community. I brought it up in the last live stream.
Bring the focus of this video onto one user in particular from the FCK server, Toasty Vanilla. Now, I'm well aware that Toasty wasn't the only bad actor within the FCK server, but for the purpose and the focus of this video, I will only like to talk about what Toasty did. Resources on the entire FCK situation will be linked in the description down below. This video will be broken down into a few different parts, first starting with who Toasty was as a content creator, then moving on to their actions within the FCK server, and then the new information that I have.
Fruitcake Club, what the heck is that? Okay, quick rundown, because basically Yen is gonna do it for us in this section. It was a server where a bunch of fucking creators and like random chatters were. And there were minors in there as young as 12 years old. And they were sending Sandy Cock vor art and pornography in there. Some of the creators did not get involved whatsoever or weren't even aware of it. Others were engaging with it and being okay with it. That's all you need to know. It's basically the Diddy server of the ACC. That's the best way to describe it.
discovered. As I'm aware, a lot of
Toasty Vanilla is not peaches.
the people who are going to be seeing this video already know most of the information regards to the FCK server. However, there are some who have not. I will be leaving timestamps down below for those who wish to skip ahead. Now that introductions are out of the way, let's get into the meat.
It seems like there's a lot of people that don't know what the FCK server is in chat, so I will let Yen explain it.
Potatoes of everything I'll be talking about. ToastyVanilla was a small content creator whose channel is still up, currently sitting at the time of recording at 1.65k subscribers.
I love the fact that 1.6k subscriber channel caused this much of a fucking problem.
Where a lot of the videos have been unlisted since everything about Toasty came to light. But thankfully, I was handed an archive of some of their videos, and I think it's important to highlight some of the content on Toasty's channel. And to do this, I will be analysing one video in particular from Toasty's channel, titled Toasty Overthrows and Bribes Discord Mod. Keep in mind, I will be editing and cutting into some parts of this video.
Also, just quick reminder, we have 283 people here, but only 81 likes? Come on, people, what are you doing? I'm not even asking you to donate. We just need to get 100 likes on the stream, dude.
And I'll be marking on screen where
If you do 100 likes, I will tweet at Frogan on Blue Sky that of the photo of her looking like a frog and saying this you on Blue Sky and get my account banned almost instantly. I will get my Blue Sky account banned for 100 likes. I hate Blue Sky. I don't even use it, so I will gladly throw it on the funeral pyre that is Frogan.
I've been doing that, as to not seem like I'm cutting stuff out of context. Me showing this is just to give a brief overview of the type of content that Toasty would expose their audience to.
When I came across a channel that piqued my interest.
Uh-oh.
It only had
Already at 97, oh no.
1.2k subscribers, and you know what, I'll just let the screenshot speak for itself. You kind of get the gist here of what it's about. And nonetheless, it piqued my interest of this server. Many were very, very confused, including the owner herself, who at the time was trying to take away everyone's license to come. Hello, and welcome to Fashia's Christmas Cunt. I approached her. So what will it be? Kneecaps or no kneecaps?
Surrender your cummies.
Tell her to eat pork.
Why is Future Butters always like the most sexually depraved person in like every DM exchange? It's always about like, it's always something sexual with Future Butters. It's kind of gross. It's pretty disgusting, actually.
No, I had clearly been outplayed, and I was in a sticky situation. How could I have forgotten the ban on cum? And here I was, cum in my balls, standing in front of the server owner. It was a very tense situation. However, we did strike a deal. I would hand her my cummies in exchange for the endorsement of Rule 12. However, that didn't fly past her. She slapped me with a counteroffer. You see, I could keep my cummies, and I would get a cum license, as long as she didn't have to abide by the new rule, or give up her kneecaps. I was desperate, so I had to accept it.
Now, why am I showing this video in particular? Well, it gives us a good example of the kind of sexual content that Toasty would put onto their channel and expose to their rather young audience. Now, if we look into this video's
Who
description,
do I main in Mario Kart? I artistically just zeroed in on that. It's Dry Bones. I main Dry Bones. I don't know why. I just like Dry Bones. I like the guy. I like the little dead turtle man. I don't know why.
we can see that the person who worked on the editing
I feel like I missed something. You're all saying gross.
Counteroffer. You see, I could keep my cummies, and I would get a cum license.
I'm sorry, what? I don't want to read these. It seems we are at a stalemate. Fine, you have. I don't want to read this. I don't want to read these. This looks horrible. What? I don't want to be clips saying this. I don't want. I don't want to read this. This is like when I had to read Dan Burst's fucking little blog that he put together about AOC ramming him up the ass with a big black dildo, screaming BLM. I don't want to read this. Ugh. Okay. Surrender your cummies, bitch. It seems we are at a stalemate. Fine, you may have my cummies. However, what will I get in return? A cum license. Sounds tempting. That was terrible.
As long as she didn't have to
That was terrible. I want to die.
abide by the new rule, or give up her kneecaps. I was desperate, so I had to accept it.
Now, why am I showing this video in particular? Well, it gives us a good example of the kind of
That was horrible.
sexual content that Toasty would put onto their channel and expose to their rather young audience. Now, if we look into this video's description, we can see that the person who worked on the editing and doing the thumbnail for this video was a person called Teddy That Draws, a 16-year-old kid. Now, I don't have to point out the issues of this without being apparent, but for those who aren't clocking it, Toasty was an 18 to 19-year-old at the time of this video being made. Despite this, Toasty had their help in making this very sexual video. At the end of this video, there is a fan art page featuring very sexually charged artwork of Toasty's character that I will have to blur out
Yeah, no, I know all about it. Yeah, and it's the community that might not that's watching right now.
for the most part, but at least one of them features drawing done by a 14-year-old called Slummers. Now, those who have been in the ACC for a while will remember that name from the Madame drama. Toasty and others in this FCK were highly aware of that, and having made their own videos on the drama and dropping Slummers' name in all their videos, including Toasty.
So when I saw this Madame shit going on, I was like, hey, that's a person I've had some interactions with. Now, before I go into my experiences, let me explain what happened with her drama. Basically, Madame was
I'm
browsing
just
for some
gonna-
character stills when along came a small, innocent 15-year-old
Go
artist.
boost that a little
And
bit.
she goes up to Madame and says,
Oh, hey, Mr. Madame. I made you this cool drawing. I hope you like it.
So, just so that we keep
Yeah, this whole drama from Madame, if I remember correctly, is over like them getting artwork and then not giving credit to the artist, and then Madame like had a fucking mental breakdown about it. I fucking hate the ACC, dude. I hate it so much.
track, Toasty has so far exposed 2 minors to sexually charged topics within one video. Now that about wraps up this part about who Toasty was as a content creator. However, there is one more gem I would like to share from the end of their trolling video.
And if you are watching this in the future, I'm probably in the future, I'm not gonna lie.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Not banned yet. Not banned yet. I'm really hoping I get banned. I'm really hoping. I'm not banned yet, which is crazy.
The FCK server was made in late 2019, and over time had more and more people join, mainly people from the art commentary community, such as Hopeless Peaches, Toby, Nezzy Monster, Miss Easy, The Name's Junkie, Susie Doodletones, Just a Robot, Mad Libs, and of course, Toasty Vanilla. There are also underage...
I love the fact that Jar was in there. Jar didn't do anything, okay? Jar didn't do anything. I have to be fair to Jar. He did not post or engage in the pornographic shit in the FCK. I have to be fair. I have to be fair.
Children in the server, as seen in the list on screen. These will be important to note later on into this video. All the names that I've listed along with their ages is public information as per Laca's FCK stream. Now, I feel like it's important to note that not every single person that was in the FCK server had the exact same level of involvement, as people like Just a Robot clearly didn't seem to understand anything that was going on within the server, as there's no evidence for them doing so. If you wish for more information about other people's involvement within the FCK server, I would like to direct you to Akumu's FCK Maxim video and the rest of their content.
Yeah, if you want to watch 9 hours, I'm not even kidding. That video is actually really well made for 9 fucking hours. Akumu put his blood, sweat, and tears into it. I kind of respect him for it. But if you want, like, the full, every piece of the drama, from start to finish, from how Akumu witnessed it, his video is fucking killer. And then you have Thuman's video, which is never gonna fucking come out, apparently. I'm kidding. She's working on it, but like, fucking Christ, Thuman.
On the channel, as they've been carefully cataloguing the situation over the years. Now, if there was any doubt in people's mind of these people not understanding who Slummers was and what the Madame situation was, we can clearly see that in Code 4 of the server rules. You can see that Toasty states the reason why the server was created in the first place. Now I can find...
Yeah, I forgot that one of the server things was like, oh, pee in my mouth is like a thing.
And they start to explain why this server was so controversial and why everyone got so much flack for its existence and the content within it. Despite the fact that everyone seemed to understand that there were minors in the server, it did not stop sexual topics from happening, along with posting sexual content, NSFW artwork, and making very sexual jokes. Now, if I was to go through every single screenshot in regards to the actions that were done within the FCK server, this video will be extremely long. However, I will be highlighting...
Yeah, Yen, I heard, Yen. It's almost like I'm doing this video in preparation.
Few instances that I have found that I find quite indicating of ToastyVanilla's behavior, and their lack of being able to control themselves. Slummers, send the vor pic. Monkey lad, the what pic? Toasty. Say her full name, Skullgirls. You're doing her disjustice. Slummers. Toasty, show the bug the vote pic you always have. For the one with Sandy. Toasty. Say its full name. Monkey lad. Oh god, oh fuck. Sandy? Sandy Cheeks? Slummers. Yes. Monkey lad. What? Why? Toasty. Say the full name, Slummers. Monkey lad. Please. Slummers. Because I had to see it, so do you. Oh my fucking god, send the vor pic of Skullgirls. Toasty. Yes.
Notice how they're all talking about Sandy Cheek Cockvore with a minor. This is the kind of server we're dealing with right now. This is the kind of server that we are being subjected to.
Probably get Thuman's video before GTA 6.
We will probably get Thuman's video before GTA 6.
It has a full name. The Sandy Cheeks Giantess Cockvore. Jesus, was that so hard? Monkey lad. Oh god. Slummers. Yes. Toasty then proceeds to send this image. Thankfully, Akumu had managed to blur this image in their FCK Maxim video. Thank you, Akumu. But...
I didn't think I was going to be flashbanged with it a second time. Oh, God. I didn't want to get flashbanged the second time with the Sandy Cheeks Cockvore. I didn't want that. God damn it, Yen. God is dead. It is official. There is no God. God is dead.
When this image was originally sent, it was definitely not blurred, and as you can see, Slummers is in the chat, and as we all know at this point, Slummers was a minor. There was another instance of these kinds of images being sent within the chat, and keep in mind this isn't even the NSFW chat of the server, like that would change very much. However, there was a case of another image being sent, and instead the character was Hatsune Miku.
What the fuck? God is dead. God is dead. I forgot about the Hatsune Miku fucking Cockvore art. I forgot about that.
Yes, I wish very much that I was making this up. Toasty, at Slummers. Have you seen the Rule 34 of my Go character? Slummers, show. Monkey lad. Wait, are you talking about the Futa one? Toasty. The only valid version of me is the Futa version. Monkey lad. That's the true you. Now, it doesn't take much of a genius to realize that I had to crop off this image because it's literally just NSFW porn posted by Toasty. And yes, again, in front of minors. And probably other minors within the FCK saw this and just didn't comment. Slummers. How do you crop so damn fast? No, I can't see it because my Gmail's fucked up. Fuck you. Deleted user. Hi. Toasty. I'd fuck me too, Slummers. Toasty Vanilla. I had sex with James. At Jamesy. I miss you, bruv. Jamesy. I miss you too, Toasty. I feel like it's important to know that Jamesy was actually one of the 16-year-olds within the FCK league.
Grown adults saying that they're fucking a 16-year-old in Discord. Kind of crazy that there's a group of people out there that are sweeping for Toasty. Kind of crazy when they get confronted with it, they go, Toasty did nothing wrong, and you're all just harassing them. Crazy, right?
Meaning that Toasty is talking this way to another minor. Mimi, shut up at Toasty. I just couldn't find the original meme. Also, good morning, babe. Say it back. Toasty. Good morning, sex slave. Mimi. Yes. Toasty. At Mimi. You're fucking weird. Mimi. So are you. Toasty. Mimi. Let me ask you one question. What the fuck is this doing in my fucking notifications? Mimi. At Toasty. What you said, sex slave. So I went with it. Toasty. Ass emoji. Mimi. Wave. Now, I feel like this has built quite a decent case in the kind of things that ToastyVanilla would do within the FCK server, especially in the presence of minors. There are a few other instances that I'd like to highlight, so I'll be showing an interview that was done between ToastyVanilla and Phantom Heart.
Hopeless Peaches was in it at one point. Oh, yeah, she was a blast. I want to tell a specific story about that one, but it's a bit inappropriate, so I'm going to hold off for now.
Yeah, the story is that ToastyVanilla was like jerking off in a fucking VC call, and I think Hopeless Peaches came in and was like, "What are you doing?" And then they had some kind of weird shaming moment about it, I think.
Don't worry, I'm over 18, so if you prefer for a specific part
Oh,
of the
actually, no, okay. Nah, that's fine. It's not like that bad. It's just like, so I was alone in VC once. I didn't know I was in VC. I hear a ba-dum, and there's fucking Peaches. And she starts being like, hey, what are you, loser? Being alone in here in VC. And I'm like, I'm surprised because at the time I was fucking masturbating.
Oh my gosh.
She didn't hear it. She didn't know it. Like, I immediately stopped everything, and she was like, oh, what are you doing in here alone? Were you a loser?
Why were you in a VC alone jerking off? Who does that? Who stays on Discord and jerks off and is a normal person? Who does that? Who does that? What kind of world, what kind of life are you living? You need to seek God.
You little dork, you little fucking, like pussy ass bitch. And I'm like, Peaches. And like she goes on with that for a while, and I'm like, Peaches, listen. Are you in here for a reason? Are you in here to chat? Because I was in the middle of something, all right? And I want to know if I should like continue doing that something or like just stop doing it and then like have a talk with you. And she was like, oh, what were you doing? And I'm like, well, it's something all men do. I was like in the middle of fucking jacking off. I'd like to continue that, thank you.
I guess because I...
What the fuck? I don't think I've heard that before. Gets confronted on jerking off, and he's just like, I want to keep jerking off. Can you fuck off? I'm in the middle of something.
Probably fuchsia.
Holy shit.
To start masturbating inside of Discord servers where anyone can join the voice call and hear what is going on. Imagine if it wasn't Hopeless Peaches who joined the call, except someone like Smurs or Teddy. What would have happened then? But thank God.
Yeah, and he's jerking off in a Discord full of minors. And Yen's right. At any point, any one of those minors could have called in there and would have just heard all of this.
Minors in the server.
Hello, Shinji. Welcome to hell.
Were made aware of this happening, right? Right.
Shinji's my favorite farmer.
Toasty, at Slumers. Hey, want to hear a funny story? Slumers, sure. Toasty, like 3 hours ago, at Hopeless Peaches, walked in on my masturbating and started to shame me for being alone in VC that I didn't know I was in. This happened in this server. Slumers, so Peaches shamed you? Toasty, no, she thought it was the funniest shit ever because I was just like, hi Peaches, didn't expect you here. She didn't know until I told her, so she just started going on a tangent about how I'm a loser being alone in VC. Slummers, thank God I didn't join. Now I've shown in both the screenshot and the interview, Toasty does say that they did this on accident. However, given the fact that they decided to engage with conversation with the person that saw them in the VC, I find it just overall really weird and shows that they have really weird sexual prolificity. And absolute.
It's not even that. It's just their boundaries are completely warped on what they perceive to be okay sexual interaction. It's actually like mentally ill how sex brain Toasty is and what they will do to justify what they want in regard to their sexual nature and involving children with it.
No shame at all, and then went on to go ahead and show this story and specifically ping Slummers, who Toasty knew was a minor. So this just shows that Toasty wanted to tell Slummers about a sexual story that occurred, very directly, making no attempts at safeguarding. For the following screenshots, the person who is labeled deleted user is actually Teddy that Draws, another one of the minors within FCK that I briefly mentioned, and is one of Toasty's thumbnail artists. Teddy, and I still ain't used to it. Toasty, well Teddy, just don't say the N-word. Teddy, Nigel, necromancy, Toasty. No, I'm referring to Teddy, don't say Teddy. Toasty. Ah yes, very appropriate for you to use that kind of language in front of a minor. And before I see someone...
I'm gonna be realistic, dude. Like, it makes me want to put the hat back on and just, like, kind of, like, get, like, a fake thing, right? So just, like, put the hat on. And then all I do is I find, like, a mannequin. And then I just put Toasty's face on the mannequin. And then I just do this. Like honestly, like, just full Derek Chauvin moment right there. Like, that's what I feel like whenever I hear Toast. It's like full Derek Chauvin moment.
In the comments going, oh yeah, well, it's the internet. People will say whatever they want.
That's
yeah, but this is a
literally
private
where I'm
server.
at. Like, I'm not even, like, angry. It's just disgusting. Like, Frogan made me genuinely angry. This makes me, like, disgusted.
And Toasty could just choose not to say these kinds of words in front of minors. Toasty, good. It's being lonely. It's better than hurt or heartbroken. It's better than sad. At Teddy. So I've done my job. Would you like to be tucked in and given a goodnight kiss, my princess? Teddy. I never said I wanted though. Wait, hold on. Another instance of Toasty being inappropriate with another minor. Teddy. Who? Toasty likes me. He said he wants my dildo in his ass. Toasty. I only love you for your money, Teddy. Teddy. Frowny face. But you pay me. Wouldn't I be the one into your money? I hope that a few of the examples that I've shown in this video of the stuff that happened within FCK that Toasty did was enough to convince you of what kind of an individual they are. Unfortunately, that's not the extent of what Toasty has done, as I will be showing you some of the personal interactions between Teddy and Toasty in their own personal DMs. Teddy. Why though? You aren't dating me, Toasty. Because we're probably going to be working together for a long time, so why not to get to know each other? We're going to be involving our craft together over the years. Teddy. Lamau. Of fucking course. That's just how it be. I don't know how me being a dom makes a difference. Toasty. It doesn't. It just
Dude, you're talking about being a dom in Discord servers to a minor. In DMs! This isn't like in the open Discord. This is them like talking to them in DMs.
Caught me by surprise. Teddy. Haha, I suppose so. I like some soft guys who like being sub. Toasty. The fuck? Why do you want to stab me? Teddy. Because you're so cute and I hate that. Toasty. So are you actually a top? Teddy. I'm a switch. But yeah, sure.
Will I stream with the lion mask on? No, I don't want to touch that thing. I'll probably bring back the cop shit eventually. But like, I don't have the sunglasses for it. The hat does not work without the sunglasses. It just doesn't work, right? I need the aviators. I gotta go buy a shitty pair of aviators.
Oh hey, me too. Teddy, I lamau. Epic. That's the only way to be.
I also need a hat that's bigger. This hat is so tiny.
There is one final part I would like to share in regards to FCK, and that was when Toasty commissioned Hopeless Peaches to draw artwork depicting...
Wait a minute, I think I do have a new police hat, because I went as a cop for Halloween last year. I think I do have a better hat and like a whole uniform. I forgot about that.
Toasty and Teddy in a compromising situation. Toasty, you're welcome. I still care about you. Grump, get moldy. Toasty, no, I won't get moldy. By the way...
Dude, System Alchemist keeps trying to say I'm hot like all the time. It's crazy. This is disgusting. What the fuck is that? That is two naked kids. Just to remember, the drawing shown was actually of Toasty and Hopeless Peaches, not Teddy. But they are drawn in a childlike art style.
At Grump, at delete.
I will not make my own content, cop. I am not that talented.
User, image, thoughts, Grump, who drew? Stop tagging Teddy, Toasty. Peaches drew fan art of us. And
like 3 or 4 times, she says. Yeah, or he. I don't even know.
She hasn't shared it yet, and I want to share it. Grump. It's cute. Now leave us. Deleted user. No. Toasty. I'll tag you both more next time just to piss you both off. Deleted user. Stop, please. Now again, I had to censor off part of this artwork because I don't feel comfortable sharing it given the context behind it and what it really involves. But simply put, it depicts Toasty's character bathing Teddy's. No extreme nudity is shown within the drawing. However, it is incredibly disturbing given everything that we know about this person and the ages of the people involved. These screenshots are both foul and disgusting. Teddy, again, was 16 to 17 at the time of these screenshots, whereas Toasty was 18 to 19, as previously stated. The actions of Toasty behind closed door and by extension within the FCK led to Teddy and the other minors being normalized to these behaviors and thus didn't speak out. It took the individual known as Ben Looney, who isn't by no means a good person, explaining to Teddy that they were being groomed. And when Teddy spoke out about this, they were harassed.
Which is crazy that Ben Looney was the one that like broke the story. Like he convinced Teddy of what happened. That's crazy. Out of all people, Ben Looney.
And threatened by a group associated with Toasty.
This was around the time I had cut Toasty from my life. During this time, Ben Looney pointed out the fact that I was being groomed by Toasty. This was something I had taken, ran with, and had desperately tried to get people to listen to me about. Toasty, hearing about this, gathered up people who didn't like me as well, and made an attempt to make a video on me, with evidence they had collected. During this time, I will refer to a person named Person A, who would try to join Toasty in making this video about me, since I had beef with them. This video would have included a clip of a Person A who shared a very personal story about my sexual assault. Not only this, but lied to exaggerated it to make it seem like I was lying about how it happened. I don't know what else would have been in that video other than Toasty talking about how I falsely called them a groomer and had lied to everyone about it. Big creators I had shared this with didn't seem to listen, and Toasty had brushed me off as a known liar. Person A had started sending his friends to harass me on Twitter. And not just message me to say slightly mean things. My friends and I were sent self-harm images, all of which were coming from a man twice our age, who was around 30 at the time. The 30-year-old man had—
Ben didn't care. I remember the reason he did it was because he wanted to just own them. He didn't really care about the grooming. He was just like, fuck it. If you're coming after me, I'm taking you all down with me.
Sent multiple disturbing images and had made fun of a friend of mine for siding with me. How did he do this? He sends an anime girl overdosing to make fun of the fact my friend had lost their sister to an overdose. This harassment went on until I had tried to take my own life, after which Person A and his friends had a call with me, where I wanted to have a truce. This is where I confront Person A, to which they admit all that was to suicide bait me into killing myself to prove I wasn't going to which I responded. And what—
You know what's crazy is like at no point can anybody, and I mean anybody, in the art commentary community say that like drama streamers are the worst things imaginable, or like normal, like people like me, right? Like my style of content. You can never say that we are more fucked up than you. We're like horrible people. You can't do that. Not when you guys do this kind of shit. You can't come after us for saying a slur here or there.
What would you have done if I did? This call was one of the endings to the group's harassment. I was told by Toasty's group to then write an apology for them all, which I was forced to write as I was being blackmailed by one of the people making the video, otherwise they would release it.
Toasty's complete unwillingness to accept responsibility and wanting to silence Teddy is despicable, malicious, and horrendous. The mental and psychological damage and lasting damage that Toasty and those within the FCK have done to these kids can never be undone. However, during the time of 2020, when this drama was going on, Toasty had been confronted by Akumu, and I'll be showing you one of those clips now.
But do you just want me to stay on Twitter when your video goes up just so I can take a backlash and then leave?
No. Okay, everyone else knows this. Where basically ToastyVanilla is like, hey, do you want to look at porn? And there's like a server full of like they're literally in a call with a bunch of minors. So let's skip to this one.
Now we have a base understanding about the FCK, the situation surrounding Toasty in 2020, and their actions within it, and the kind of person they are. I can move on to talk about the stuff that I've recently learned. Firstly, starting with a server that Toasty was in 2020. And to do this, I would like to introduce you to a channel called Timeworks. At the time of recording, Timeworks' channel is currently sitting at 697,000 subscribers, and it's existed as early as 2016. Now, looking through their content is quite generic, mainly consisting of challenge videos and some reaction content. But if you flip over to the channel's post section, you will find this. Now, this on the surface may not be worth much thought. Aside from this and a few mentions of Toasty on Twitter, there isn't much in terms of public interaction.
There's a 600,000 sub YouTube channel that is trying to platform ToastyVanilla. Oh my god.
But that is until we look closer into their Discord server, currently sitting at 12,000 members and peaked during 2020 due to the COVID-19 outbreak, where a lot of work and mainly schools were cancelled, bringing an increase in membership to the server and the Discord. This server does not allow NSFW topics or discussion due to it not—
No, that's what they do, Shinji. So like if I turn around and like say like any slur imaginable, or like if I say anything that isn't what they believe to be like the right opinion or whatever, they turn around and go, like, here's an example, like Goat Cato. Like Goat constantly gets inundated with straw pages of calling me like a MAGA loving Nazi because I say the word retard. These people will groom kids, try to push those kids to suicide, and psychologically damage them because they want to protect their favorite creator. Yeah, but I'm the asshole, right? I'm the fascist piece of shit, right?
Being age-gated and having members as young as 14 within the server, as seen in the server rules. Looking into the members, one in particular stands out, and that is ToastyVanilla herself, with the role of former mod. And after scrolling through the messages, they were mod around the time of the FCK server, and the situation within it that took place. Now again, this is a very large server, and the content around it isn't related to ACC, so Toasty must have stopped their behavior with the server, right? No, of course they didn't. For a point of reference, Toasty was a moderator in the Timeworks server since the 14th of December 2018, and in the time of them being a moderator up until their sudden drop in activity during 2022, which coincides with their removing themselves of their internet presence, Toasty engaged in inappropriate messages in the server. The first instance was them talking about their futanari fetish in the main chat, and even mentioning slummers by name, and talking sexually about said fetish in front of minors within the server, whilst also confirming that they had finished, to the point in which another moderator had to remind them that there were minors present, which Toasty seemed to agree on, only to continue talking about futa. Now the moderator may have—
What the fuck, dude? What are you— Oh my god, why are you talking about futa, cock, and finishing in a Discord server full of kids?
Stepped in. However, I do not understand how this wasn't nipped at the bud here and there, and Toasty removed—
Because it was fucking poor, and this person that owns the server likes Toasty. That's probably why.
From the server. And given their clear uncaring to what they were saying, this does show that Toasty's inability to speak in the correct manner when minors are present extends to a much more public setting and not just the private FCK server. There is another instance of Toasty inciting a sexual-based topic within the server by asking if people were of the age of consent to know who she could flirt with openly, which in of itself is still disturbing, given the server contains minors, quite actively, even those who interacted with openly. Of Toasty inciting a sexual-based topic.
Wait. What is Toasty doing? What are they doing? I'm sorry, I missed that. I must have missed that on my first watch through.
Within the server by asking if people were of the age of consent to know who she could flirt with openly, which in of itself is still disturbing.
What the fuck? So they're just asking random people in Discord who's over 18 so I can have Discord e-sex with them. What the fuck?
Given the
in a server full of minors.
Server contains minors quite actively, even those who interacted with the question. One even said how they were 14, but they didn't care, and this answer from the minor wasn't explained to be a dangerous thing to happen, and no consequences of these behaviors were punished. If that wasn't enough, there are other cases of Toasty acting inappropriately in this server when talking in public chats, such as constant use of this image depicting Nazi imagery, and this meme showing what seems to be young characters from an anime. Unfortunately, I cannot confirm the ages of said characters, but the depiction itself seems to be a meme showing what's appropriately in this server when talking in public chats, such as constant use of this image depicting Nazi imagery, and this meme showing what seems to be young characters from an anime.
What does it say? What, you thought it would be some cute girl? I'm just a sweeman. Okay.
Unfortunately, I cannot confirm the ages of said characters, but the depiction itself seems
Okay, those are kids, man.
quite young. After seeing all this, I decided to contact the server owner, and in turn the channel owner Nick, to ask a few simple questions regarding Toasty and our activity in the server. But I was—
Holy shit, Toasty needs to be fucking shot. Good evening. I'm asking you in regards to an important subject in the form of one of your ex-moderators, and I have some questions I need to ask you. It's an important subject. Hello, what would you like to know? First question, when was there no not safe for rule added to your Discord? Question mark. I understand you may be busy, but this is important. Hello.
ignored, despite my emphasis on it being a serious topic. So, I approached another moderator, who had been on staff at similar times as Toasty, who wishes to remain anomalous about these things. Good evening, I am messaging you in regards to an important subject in the form of one of the ex-moderators, and I have a few questions I need to ask you. It's an important subject. The first question I need answered is, when was Rule 3, an SFW rule, introduced into the server?
Hello, it's been best of my knowledge that Rule 3 has been around for at least about 5 years. It is very likely that the rule has been around for longer because 5 years ago was the start of COVID lockdowns.
A confirmation on that will be very much appreciated, as I can see the message was edited, so it's hard to tell if it was specifically always a role.
I don't know specifically when it came out, but it's safe to say it's been around probably for as long as the server's been open.
My next question would be, when was Toasty removed as mod / stepped down as moderator, and what was the reason given to this?
He was removed as a staff for inactivity. Nick did this with a few of the staff members, so he wasn't plucked out specifically. With inactivity potentially relating to security concerns and so forth, they were removed as staff of April of last year.
I then proceeded to tell the moderator why I was even asking these questions, and the messages that I had shown previously in this video.
I can see why you bring this up. I don't have any reasons for them not being reprimanded in some capacity for some of their inappropriate comments, like the ones you've subscribed.
Unfortunately, I would have given some level of leeway if they want to mod.
That's an insane way to respond to that. I don't have any reasons for them not to be reprimanded in some capacity for the inappropriate comments like the one you described. These are not inappropriate. Like, this person was like getting kids at DMs to like talk about sexual shit and posting Sandy Cock vor art in a Discord server. Like, I would not have worded it that way.
Moderator. However, given they are, and they should definitely know the rules, and besides that, even if they weren't a mod, they must be aware that there are some minors in the server, given that it's not age-gated.
Oh yeah, they were definitely aware that they were minors, as spring and summer 2020 is when the server peaked in activity. Just for the record, I don't condone the messages he sent.
There is actually one point I would like to correct, as I don't know how I missed it, and I do apologize for doing so. An admin did tell them to cut it out. However, considering this behavior happened more than once, like asking if people were of age or consent, I'd say that's enough to have removed them as a mod.
I do agree that the owner ought to have done something, and obviously didn't at that time. Staff are permitted to ask people of their ages, if and only that they are suspicious of any eligibility to be on the Discord.
Yeah, but that's not what Yen is saying. What Yen is saying is that they were legitimately asking people who is 18 plus so I can flirt with them. That is not trying to figure out the age of the people to ban them because they are underage. That is not the same thing.
First place, see Discord TOS section 2. This does not apply to the latter, so ought not to have been asked.
Also, given that Toasty during 2020 was 18 turning 19, an adult in a server with minors as young as, according to the rules, 14, it's unacceptable.
The rules do allow minors as young as 13, the age in which you're allowed to join Discord in the US, but that doesn't change anything with what we've discussed.
The last question I asked the moderator was if Nick knew about the events around Toasty in 2020.
Not until right before Toasty was banned. He was banned a couple days ago.
I have to condone this as being silently done. Given Toasty is a known groomer, and there are minors in the server, surely an announcement to bring awareness and see if there are victims would be something that needs to be done.
We don't want to bring a widespread attention to the issue.
The staff don't want it known that a previous moderator was a child groomer.
Be that as it may, I won't be commenting any further.
To say the least, I wasn't impressed.
Wow!
Given how they wanted to sweep this under the rug and not address it publicly, given the track record of Toasty.
Interesting that the moderators take that position. Now, the person has been removed, thankfully, but like they should put out like something being like, hey, did anyone speak to this mod in DMs? And like try and see if anything happened. They should do that. They should.
There could have been potential other victims from this server, and 2 days after my conversation with the moderator, Toasty's account was banned from the server, which is still too little too late. Now, given the size of Timeworks' channel, he benefits a lot from just not interacting with anything to do with this, because he can seemingly sweep it under the rug. But hopefully, this part of the video has given people some further understanding of the kind of person that ToastyVanilla was, and the people that enabled their behavior and allowed them to continue acting in these spaces in the way that they have been. However, speaking of sweeping, thanks to Teddy's own video they made about their experience with ToastyVanilla, and Lako Malaka's live streams on the FCK, I was curious about one part, and that was Toasty's apparent previous attempt to rebrand as a VTuber under the name Ruby Missile Launcher.
Okay, now we're getting into the VTuber sweeping allegations. Now remember, Rex Silvermoon has changed his mind. We can't be mean to Rex.
So, as the nosy Yenna I am, I went to Twitter, searching the name, and didn't get a lot. But then I remembered the name in Ruby's old Twitter banner, Corbett. That led me to a collab string with Corbett and a user with the same VTuber model and similar name to the old one, called Ruby Lighter Fluid. If you wanted to run away, you did an amazing job doing so. Then I found their Twitch, compared the voices for my own sanity, and yes, this was ToastyVanilla. Streaming in 2025 without a care in the world and hiding out in the VTubing community, doing collabs and streams with others, mainly doing Hearts of Iron streams and the likes. I came to the conclusion that Toasty, now Ruby, had either hid their past or lied to these people to get away from responsibility of what they did. So I started collecting names and looking into their Discord servers, and thankfully, nothing came up, given the fact that Ruby seemed to only join said server.
Interesting that they are, even though Yen joined all these servers, Toasty was nowhere to be found. That's actually interesting.
To collab on live streams, and they seem to have not had a community Discord server of their own. And so, I approached them all at the same time, sending the same message of, good morning, afternoon, evening. I am messaging you in regards to a bad actor in the community. Are you aware of a person called ToastyVanilla? To be honest, I should have been less surprised by the response, given past—
Well, yeah, it was pretty heavy-handed, Yen, I'll be honest. To get information out of these people, that was heavy-handed, but it is interesting to see how these people are going to respond.
Situations. But again, here we are. And I would like to go through them one by one. Firstly, I'll go through the ones who blocked me on reception of the message immediately, those being both Kate Fishin, a Twitch streamer with 543 followers, who I sent a message at the same time as the others, and Xaria Morningstar, someone who had since deleted their Twitch, but their Clips channel remains up, whose Discord I joined, but was quickly banned from after attempting to message them. Now for Xaria's case, I can assume that they had been forewarned about me looking into Ruby, as it was about a week after I sent my original messages. But for Kate Fishin, I only mentioned ToastyVanilla, which means they must have had an understanding of why I would be mentioning it to them. Again,
Toasty was in the servers, but what I mean is there was no bad stuff in the servers. Okay, so they were in the servers, but they weren't interacting with the server members. Okay.
Meanwhile for Xaria, the only currently still public instance of their—
At least they're not asking kids to fucking flirt with and send Sandy Cockvort, you know? Like, at least they're not doing that.
Collaboration with Ruby is a tweet from 2023, showing the evidence of Toasty's past rebrand attempt even then, which leads me on to the next person, Corbett. Corbett is the person who I found Toasty's newest identity through, a YouTube streamer / creator with 61.7k subscribers, who did respond to my message and had apparently been previously contacted regarding Ruby as seen.
An associate of yours, I assume, has very recently messaged me regarding this matter. Please do not contact me again, and consider informing any other person who may also wish to contact me about this.
Interesting that a 61k subscriber is not doing anything about that. That's interesting.
And consider informing any other person who may also wish to contact me about this.
Now, given the fact Ruby's Discord account was still in Corbett's server, and the fact that he knew about Ruby even when they were using the name Ruby Missile Launcher, I again only used the name Toasty in my messages. I find it hard to believe that they hadn't seen the information pertaining to them and the actions they did in 2020. Again, I want to have some level of good faith with these people. However, it's very hard to, given how public Toasty's actions are, and if these people hadn't looked into it themselves, it's a minimum gross negligence. Rex,
I am not going to believe. Dude, nobody responds the way that they're responding to you without understanding what is going on. They know. That person knows. That these people know, man. Like, they knew. Now, this guy obviously didn't, and we recognize that now, right? But in the case of the 61k sub guy, a guy that cares about his optics and channel and his community, if you used the name ToastyVanilla and they said, do not contact me again about this, they know it's Toasty. They know the public story. They just don't care, or they just don't want to be involved and continue to collaborate with them for some ungodly reason. Maybe they're not collaborating with them anymore after this got thrown out there, but they were doing it and they know.
Silvermoon. Rex Silvermoon is a Twitch streamer with 126 followers who seemed confused at the Toasty name, but when I mentioned their new name—
so you're contacting me about your old beef. A, I'm not in the HY community, and B, keep your crusade to yourself, please.
They then swiftly blocked me. But don't worry, this isn't the last we will hear of them in this video. Team Anilia. Team Anilia is a YouTube streamer / content creator with 2.31k subscribers. Their content based mainly around video games. And this was their response to my message.
Hi there. No, I am not. What's going on?
As you can see, they feign ignorance into knowing who I'm referring to, but once I show the links to Teddy's statement and Akuma's FCK video, and name Toasty by their current name, they have this reaction.
All right, I know what this is. I have reason to doubt your statement about only looking into this year. Numerous people, creators included, have come to Ruby's defense with very compelling evidence and argument.
Wow. Crazy. The VTuber community did this.
I happen to know Ruby very well, both online and in person. I also know about you, your group, and its nonsense.
It's nonsense!
Victim of sexual assault and grooming as a teen. Ruby has helped me in the process quite a lot and has been there for me in extremely dark times. They are a supportive, kind, honest, sincere person. They also readily admitted their past flaws and mistakes to me, none of which are as extreme as the crap being lobbed at them. I take shit like this—
None of it is as extreme as the crap being lobbed at them. Did you not look at, like, any of that content? Did you not see any of the information that was presented? Did you not see them interacting with minors, sending pornography to them? Damn.
Very fucking seriously. You lot have been following them for years with your absolute bullshit. Stay the fuck out of my DMs, away from my fucking community, and kindly go fuck yourself.
Now, I can understand it being very difficult
That's interesting. Crazy a VTuber would say that. Not shocking.
to come to terms with someone who has been supportive and caring for you and has helped you through dark times actually being a bad person.
Is Ruby Toasty Vanilla? Yes. So Ruby something, whatever the fuck their name is, I already forgot. That is Toasty.
And I in no way will sit here and discredit them helping Ancilia through their trauma. However, for sheer blindness and
I will. I'll discredit it because that means that this individual, Toasty in of itself, is trying to mask themselves to be a supportive person. They don't actually care. And they're a hypocrite knowing what they did and kind of using that to gain new friends. I will devalue that.
downplaying of what Ruby did is disheartening. This point will apply for the next person I mention, but calling what Ruby is being accused of as bullshit, and the fact that they explained their quote-unquote flaws to you, will never undo the damage they did to children. Oh, and the years of following them was simply due to their group covering for them and pointing the arrow at a 16-year-old who had actual proof about their awful actions. After blocking me, they banned me from their Discord server, in which they then made an announcement stating,
Banned Yan the Yan, harassing Ruby and falsely accusing her of grooming. Listen here, I am a victim myself. I take stuff like this very, 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 very fucking seriously. Bullshit like this is why actual victims are never fucking believed or heard. Even though bad actors like this are such a small minority of claims and accusations, they do irreparable damage and harm. Take a good fucking read.
So, before anything else, you admit Ruby did wrong, even if downplaying. But in your announcement, it's utter falsities, and the victims of FCK aren't real victims. Real fucking nice. The final note for Team Ancilia is this tweet they made shortly after.
Dear drama channels trying to drag me into a thing that I frankly don't care for and want little to do with, instead of, you know, spying on me and stalking my community, why not just come out and talk to me in an honest fashion instead of trying to lie to me and deceive me?
How about you stop being a complete fucking freak sweeper? How about that? How about that? How about you recognize the information provided when you're confronted with these things instead of calling it total bullshit and listening to only one side of it, you actually do the effort and the work and to look into it instead of being a completely fucking brain dead dipshit VTuber. How about that one?
I struggle to understand what I said to you as dishonest, Ancilia. And if you call joining a public Discord server stalking, that's idiotic and backwards. And last I checked, videos with documented screenshots and years-long evidence is far from deception. Lady Saffron is a YouTube streamer at 12.3k subscribers, and is another person in Ruby's close friend group, along with Ancilia, as seen in this tweet and evident in their stream that Ruby edited for Saffron in 2023, still under the missile launcher name. And the response?
I take this very seriously.
Exactly.
Refuses to look into the evidence and just block Yen instead of hearing
Yep.
him out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. You'll definitely have a conversation with people.
Was just as colorful.
I know exactly who you are. Leave my server and every one of my friends right fucking now. You will not harass an innocent woman, understand?
Innocent woman? First off, nope. Second, innocent? No. Little bit of both on that one, but no. Innocent? No.
Where the hell do you get off going and contacting streamers just to harass someone?
I am not harassing anybody. I am simply making sure you are aware of who the individual is, and I'm sure you know that person now goes by Ruby Lighter Fluid.
I know damn well who she is, and I know she's one of the only good people on the internet.
She's only good people on the internet. Yeah, they're really, really good people on the internet. You know, sending this to kids. You know, sending that to children. Really good person on the internet, huh? Really good person, huh?
Contacting streamers just to harass someone.
I am not harassing anybody. I am simply making sure you are aware of who the individual is, and I'm sure you know that person now goes by Ruby Lighter Fluid.
I know damn well who she is, and I know she's one of the only good people on the internet. And I know who you are as well. And I know your ilk have been tracking her for years, trying to harass her.
Does Raven does not know what the fuck ilk is? Bro, read a book.
So don't play that shit with me. It's not flying.
I have only looked into this year. I think you are confusing me with somebody else. I genuinely don't know who you could be confusing me with, but if you would like, I can link one of the many videos explaining this person's actions.
I've seen the videos, and I know you're all a bunch of idiots if you think you can—
Whoa! You've seen the videos and you still want to be cool with this person?
just come out here and harass innocent people. I've already contacted all other streamers you're bothering and told them to ban you from their servers.
So you're fully aware of what Toasty did? Fully?
Fuck off.
I genuinely don't want you to be misinformed. I've seen it time and time again, where someone will feed a story to those they call friends to make themselves look good. I would at minimum please like you to at least listen to a video done by a victim. As you can see, the wording used is similar to Ancilia, and also mention years of harassment, and clearly aware of their ToastyVanilla identity. Again, what I said about Ancilia applies here as well. Half of me wants to think that these people have never properly looked at the evidence against Ruby, and Ruby herself has fed them a pretty up version about what happened. But again, with Ancilia claiming to have seen the videos made, I find this hard to believe. And it's all well and good of Ruby admitting a small level of fault behind closed doors, but given the only official—
I don't really believe that they actually admitted any form of fault. I think it's actual total bullshit. I think what they're doing is they're saying, yeah, I did some things I'm not proud of. I just posted, you know, some cringe stuff in a Discord. There were minors there. I fucked up. And then didn't acknowledge whatsoever the things that they were doing with Teddy and Slumers and everybody behind closed doors. They probably didn't tell them that.
actual statement ever made of FCK was this from Toasty's server years ago. This means absolutely nothing and no willingness to admit fault of their actions, and the fact Toasty's never once planned to stop engaging in online content creation from their attempts at rebranding and hiding from responsibility, and the fact that after all these messages I sent to their colleagues, they seemingly left all their servers, and from what I can see, their Discord account along with their Twitch. It's clear to me that they plan to keep running away. Or so I thought. As I was editing this video, I received a friend request from Rex Silvermoon, and curious and hoping they had actually looked into what kind of a person Ruby was, I accepted, where they told me that Ruby had asked them to mediate a call between us, which confused me, given the fact that throughout this entire process, I had never once attempted to contact Ruby. But I agreed, but asked if I could bring someone.
I'm sorry, excuse me? I was requested by the individual you attempted to discuss with me previously to reach out to you to discuss a meeting between the two of you. As a relatively unbiased party, this might surprise you, but I watched several of the old videos on them to check on my sources. They chose me. I also apologize. It seemed awfully abrupt and rude of me to cut off contact the way I did. You see, I abhor being drawn into drama. I refuse to fight for sides unless I have learned something truly heinous. But for my research, I saw/heard nothing, especially after grilling them, that couldn't be chalked up to foolish mistakes barely about 18-year-old high schoolers. So again, this individual recognized that they were wrong. Do not shit on this person. Where are we? Anyways, I have to sleep, but think on it. Worst that can happen is you can get clipped out of context, which normally has a easy explanation, but that can happen as you get all the info you could possibly want, maybe even direct evidence to back it. And you're really concerned recording the whole thing. I was going to advise Ruby that you would probably be, even if you claimed you weren't. I'll have to think on this. Okay.
Which confused me, given the fact that throughout this entire process, I had never once attempted to contact Ruby. But I agreed, but asked if I could bring someone else with me, given the fact that Rex was very much biased, as they had...
Who did you choose to be the fucking... Yen, who did you choose?
But asked if I could bring someone...
Who did you bring... Well, who's the friend?
...someone else with me, given the fact that Rex was very much biased, as they had chalked up what Ruby did as the mistakes of a barely 18-year-old, despite the fact that Ruby was 18 turning 19 in the events of FCK, and even then, is piss poor logic. I had asked the big bad lion man, Lio Convoy...
Oh god.
...to be present, and as soon as that was...
Yeah, that was your first mistake. You can't ask Lio Convoy to come in. Ruby knows that they can't get into a call with Lio. You got to find somebody else who's well versed in the FCK stuff, but somebody that doesn't have a reputation for telling people to kill themselves in a call. That's like inviting me into a call. Like, that's a bad idea. Like, realistically, if anyone invites me into these fucking ACC calls, you better know that I am going to have, like, a moment, but, like, I don't care. That's the difference between me and Lio.
As to Ruby, they seemingly got cold feet, and the call never ended up happening, and Rex reblocked me. The way I'm interpreting this is that Ruby thought that they could spin up some pretty story about what happened, something I can only assume that they did with their friends, or they simply assumed I was a clout goblin who didn't know much about the FCK, given my small presence in the space, and the presence of Lio would have definitely proved that wrong. Simply put, being a bit...
I would have brought in Thuman if I was me, you know. I would have brought Thuman into the call, because Beckett is not going to be, like, super charitable. I'm just going to be, like, brutally honest. Laka retired. Lio screams, "I'm gonna kill you," and the wolves will eat you, or something. Like, you don't really got many options. It's got to be Thuman or, like, somebody who isn't completely insane. So, you know, I would have chose Thuman, Yen. Crazy.
Bitch. But if you're watching this video, Ruby, I'd still love to have a
crazy
chat. I'll even ask for Lat to boil up a cup of tea. My final thoughts. The events of FCK may have happened years ago, but the actions of those involved are still felt to this day. And long-term effects of trauma of the victims...
Yeah, I think Thuman's a great choice to do a call with Toasty.
Ruby, and the others in FCK shouldn't be dismissed. I understand that people may learn and grow, but that requires action. That requires taking accountability for what you did and not simply slipping into another space, especially in the case of circles I mentioned previously that have minimal age gating in their servers and communities.
I don't know. I think Laka said that they're having, like, what is it? They're having medical issues, so I don't think they're around. I think I'm done. I think I got everything I wanted on my chest today.
Hey guys, thank you for watching the clip. Thank you, Core, for doing the editing. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. Check out the link in the description for the LOLcow trading card game. There's a brand new pack called Series X. That pack has my card in it, the tipster cards as well. On top of that, there's a bunch of other cast of characters in there, and we're also working towards an ultimate goal for that. So make sure you guys click on the link below. We're going to try and upload daily here and do live streams pretty often, so make sure you stick around and hit that like button. Thanks, guys.